Thank you for inviting me. Once a maker, rough notes on living a creative life. For those of you who don't know me, I've done a lot of things in my life and usually people can't make sense. I'm the guy who somebody will meet in St. John and go, "You're the radio guy? I thought you were the music guy." Or, "You're the music guy? I thought you were the prof," right? I've been a printer's apprentice. I've been a graphic artist. I've sold paper mache sculptures. I've been an academic, and I love creativity. I'm also not, this is not 15 seconds a slide. This is 15 slides a second. And even Hollywood has never made a movie at 15 slides a second. Wait a second, go back, here. Anyway, go back and get your stopwatch. Who's in control of this? Kate Wallace, who told me I couldn't use notes. Okay, one more. Okay. Are you gonna start at 15 seconds? Or is it 1.5 seconds? Okay. I love creativity. I love the fact that people make and share ideas. I like the fact that once you've shared an idea, two people have that idea. You haven't depleted a resource. Thomas Jefferson said, you know, that was the thing about ideas, with lighting a candle. And you share the candles, you get more light, you don't get less light. Creative people don't just think outside the box. I've never understood what that means. They sit on the box. They throw the box away. They figure out, what can I do that's box-like without a box? And what can I do with a box that's not box-like? In the US, they think creativity is important. They have educators, business leaders like Google and Apple, and we're doing it again, and policymakers have come together and said, in the 21st century, kids need a common core of skills: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. It's on its own timer. I don't know what's happening here. The three skills of critical thinking, communication, and collaboration reinforce the idea of creativity that they say is important. I love that. I hate the idea that we are starting to talk about creative economies, like creative industries, like creativity is a raw material that we can mine and use to our own advantage, that we can build a society on creative industries. I don't want us in the 21st century to make the same mistake that John Locke, the philosopher, made about nature. Nature has no value, he once wrote, until somebody fashions it using human labor. Screw that. Creativity is more than a resource. Creativity is a way of experiencing the world. And in this, I am creative. I have no idea what my slides, I don't know what I can do. The problem with creativity is sometimes disruptions happen. No kids here? Shit happens. Economically, economic shocks challenge the status quo. Some people call them acts of creative destruction, as if it's a good thing. Disruptive technologies challenge the centrality of certain industries and replace them. But sometimes disruptions are personal. They can be psychological, a family breaks up. They can be emotional. They can be physical. My disruption happened in 2009, and it was an illness. It happened twice. I'm a musician. I was at a rehearsal. At the end of a song, a bass note swooped into a large volume. It sort of whoomped at the end. Suddenly the room spun around. I fell down. I was dizzy. I had to be taken home. It lasted for a couple of days. 6 months later, I'm telling some friends about this episode of vertigo, and the same thing happened again. We're in a club waiting for a band to start. A song ends on the radio. Again, big bass note. Again, boom. I made it to the bathroom. 45 minutes later, my wife took me home. I was in bed for a week. I was home for 5 weeks. I couldn't read. I couldn't watch television. I couldn't listen to the radio without getting physically ill. I was told I had an ear infection. It would pass. The vertigo was a symptom. It wasn't, and it didn't. What happened instead was the vertigo was a symptom of a virus that was killing one of my ears. I ended up permanently deaf in one ear. I don't hear at all until things are of a certain volume, and then I hear crap. I am a cyborg, I'll get there. This is a really successful, I'm supposed to stay at the podium. This is a really successful thing here. So, I'm deaf. I don't hear where sound comes from in a classroom, which is really amusing to students because you ask a question over there and I look over there. And as a musician, as somebody who experienced the world in part through visual and tactile things, in part through words, and in part through music, there was a big wedge of my experience just gone, and I thought I was out of the game. I started to think, okay, we'll go there. In 2010, I was a successful candidate for something new to the Maritimes called a bone-anchored hearing aid. They drill a hole in your head. They put a Frankenstein-style bolt in your head. It's titanium, so I didn't set off the alarms when I went to LA last week. And then you get an omnidirectional microphone about 4 months later that takes the sound from your bad side, resonates through your skull to the good side. So suddenly I know when there's a bus coming from the right side, which is good survival knowledge, particularly at the university campus where the snowbanks get like this. Right? It didn't help me play music. Public situations were still anxiety-provoking places for me. But through all of this, from 2009 till Kate asked me to do this talk, I was in the process of healing, and I had to think about what is it that I do. I thought I was out of the game. I thought I was not a creator anymore. I thought I was not a creative person. I was linear. I was slower. And I realized that one of the things that I make, it's a powerful word. You get laid, you get pregnant, but you make love and you make babies. You make a splash. You make connections, associations, links. You make sense, not in the sense of, you're not making sense, but in the sense that you're figuring things out. So, as I figured myself out, I get a hearing aid. I have friends who help me. My friend Grant Heckman kept me in the recording studio, made me make every decision on what I thought was a record we were making together, which ended up being my record, New Wolf at the Door. I collaborated with the people who were giving me the hearing aid, not because I was a musician, but because I was a professor. That was important to them, that I had to be in public and teach people. And is that 5 minutes in some form of the world? What I ended up doing, Can I finish? Too quick. What I ended up doing in the period from 2009 to 2013, when I thought I was being unproductive, that I was broken, I wrote 6 articles. I made a record. I recorded a second record. I started doing visual art again, which I hadn't done a lot of in the time that I've been playing music, the last 8 years or so, where I've been concentrating on that. There's a funny map there. The thing about ideas that's really important is we make, we share, and our ideas spread. My music has been playlisted, broadcast, or bought in 27 countries. My academic work has been used from New Zealand to Washington State. My visual art is in a variety of places, and I get to cover all of Canada because I narrated the Paramount documentary, which was broadcast on CBC. We make things and we share them, and that's very cool. And that even when there's a disruption, my case an illness, and we have to rethink how we do things. I no longer think as a musician. I don't know if I'm playing anymore in public. I'll record, but I don't know if I'll play in public. I am doing these other things. And once a maker means that you follow a line, whether it's a line, whether it's a trail of breadcrumbs through the forest. And the purpose of following that line is to make sense of the world in a particular way. And I will end